In today's video, I want to share with you one of my best pre-workout warm-up routines that you can follow, especially if you're experiencing any kind of back pain from a herniated or bulging disc. Exercise should always be one of the pillars that you have in your long-term relief strategy. Most people are following a crap routine that they found online somewhere or from the PT that they saw years and years ago. I want to give you a blueprint, a free guide that you can take home and build your ideal workout with examples that I give you that are perfect for anyone with a bulging disc, ruptured disc, or herniated disc. You can grab that at fitnessforbackpain.com/pain-free training. The first exercise you're gonna be focusing on is deep breathing exercises. Now there's three things that I want you to be thinking about when it comes to applying deep breathing or any kind of breathing exercise to your warm-up routine. The first type of breathing exercise that you're gonna do is what I call deep breathing. Lots of people define this in different ways, but the way I'm looking at doing this is you're taking in deep breaths and you're really pushing that air deep down into your butt. Think of it as you're trying to almost bypass your low back and really get your butt muscles to relax. I know physically you can't take your air that low, but I want you to think from a relaxation perspective, allow that breath to go as deep down as possible. The second type of breathing exercise I want you to do is focusing your breathing at your ribs. This is more of like a daily constant breathing strategy where you're breathing and you're expanding at your lower ribs. The third thing I want you to make sure you're doing is you're breathing with your pelvic floor. Now how you do this, let's keep it simple, is when you are inhaling, I want you to contract your pelvic floor and bring it in. As you exhale, you're relaxing your pelvic floor. It takes a little bit getting used to, but these three things I want you to be focusing on for the first 5 to 8 minutes of your warm-up. Now we're gonna move on to some basic hip movements. We're gonna keep it simple and focus on internal and external rotation. Now, it doesn't really matter which one you go with, whether you're going with internal rotation or external rotation. The key things to look at is while you are rotating that leg and dropping that knee off and bring it all the way around, is you're trying to allow the hip to relax. You want that weight of the leg to really try to create a stretch in the hip without applying any kind of external force. We're not trying to manually stretch this area. We're just trying to take the hip socket through some basic movements just using our body weight. Some key things to look for when doing this both with internal and external rotation at the hip is we're trying to keep our pelvis flat on the ground. What's going to happen naturally is as you drop that hip out and you're coming around, your opposite hip will tend to lift up because your brain's like, oh, the further out our knee goes, the better it is for us. Well, what's happening is you're gonna hit a wall of range of motion at that hip socket. And what's gonna happen is as you try to reach for more range of motion, your left hip or the opposite hip is probably going to lift off, giving you the illusion that you're actually getting more movement. You might have some clicking, you might have some popping. As long as it's not pain-inducing, you should be fine. Now we're gonna move on to some basic glute activation drills. There's a lot of exercises you can pick. I'm going to pick one of them and give you some different variations that you can try. So if this specific exercise causes pain or symptoms, delete it and add something else in. Now, regardless of the type of squatting exercise that you do, I want you to have a band around your knees. This is gonna give you some feedback. As you're going down into the squat, you are trying to build tension in the knees by externally rotating your hips and pushing your knees out to activate your glutes. This is going to force you to use these muscles as you're going down and then as you're coming back up. Now there's a few different variations of the squat that you can do. First variation of the bodyweight squat is simply that. We're just going to have a basic bodyweight squat. We're not gonna hold on to anything. We're not, trying to modify it in any way. We're just gonna do a basic bodyweight squat. Now, if that basic version doesn't work for you, the next one is grabbing onto some kind of squat rack or door handle or door frame, and you're putting the weight of your body on your hands and on that frame or whatever you're holding on to. This is going to take some of the pressure and the load off of your body to keep you upright and contracting everything when it should be. And you can focus on really activating those glutes and going through the simple motion of the squat without having to be responsible for everything that comes with it. Another variation of the bodyweight squat you can do is going back to the normal variation where you're just freestanding, but you're gonna elevate your heels. I usually use about a 10-pound plate under each heel. Elevating the heels allows you to actually bypass any kind of ankle range of motion issue that you might have. It actually naturally puts you in an ideal position where you are more straight up and down and you can have the weight evenly distributed over both of your feet and your hips. Last but certainly not least, we're going to work on some core activation drills. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm gonna give you two of my favorite, very basic core activation exercises that I think are really safe. The first one is a side plank. You can do these very hard or you can do them very simple. Since I have no idea who you are and your specific pain profile, I'm going to suggest that you always start simple, listen to your body, and then move up from there. The basic version of the side plank, you're gonna start on your knees. So your hip is going to actually be back behind your knees. You're not going to be starting in the squat. You're actually going to kind of almost hip thrust into the squat. What you'll see me do here is I am sitting and I'm prepped and ready to get into the side plank position, and then I'm going to bring up my waist and bring my waist forward into that knee plank position. From there, I can make it harder by simply just going out onto my feet. So I'm going to stack my feet, or I'm going to stagger my feet, whichever works best for you. I'm going to get into the plank the same way, where I will start with my hips back, and I'm going to lift and bring my hips forward, and then hold the side plank position for the desired amount of time that you want to do it for. Now, you can always make these harder by adding some rotation or adding some kind of band pull or something like that to this exercise. But again, start small, listen to your body, and build up from there. The second exercise I think is a great core activation drill is a simple pallet press. What you're gonna do is grab your cable or your band. You're gonna move away from whatever that structure is, whether it be where your band is attached or your cable machine starts. And you're going to start with that weight as close as you can to your chest. This is going to be the easiest variation of this exercise. From there, what you're gonna do is start to stretch your arms out straight. The further away your hand moves from your body, the harder the exercise is going to become. Start small, start from the chest, maybe go out 2 or 3 inches and then come back. If your body was like, we can do this again, go out 7 inches, 8 inches, to the point where you're working all the way out where your arms are fully stretched. You can slow these down. You can turn these into pallet press holds where you're kind of going out, you're holding it for a few seconds and coming back. You can add in circles, you can add in drawing squares, lots of different variations of the pallet press that you can work into your routine. Have fun, just always start small and work up from there. If you wanna know how I would set up your next steps when it comes to building the ideal workout program for herniated or bulging discs, make sure you go to fitnessforbackpain.com/pain-free training. It's a free guide, absolutely yours. Just go grab it. Let me know where you want me to send it, download it, and then you can use it in your next workout. fitnessforbackpain.com/pain-free training, and I will see you on the next episode.